Hello, and welcome to Guitar 2, playing in the key of G. Today we're going to cover the four chords, the four main chords that we're going to use for the key of G. We are going to talk about the scale. We're going to review our scale progression so that we can play a G scale. And then the song that we are going to play with today is Amazing Grace in the key of G. So the chords that we're going to be looking at for the key of G are G, the number 1 chord. We're going to be looking at C, the number 4 chord, D, the number 5 chord, and E minor, which is the number 6 chord. Just like for the key of C, we looked at four of the most used chords. Now, the other thing that we're going to do in this lesson is I'm going to start with the chords that we don't already know. Because if you've gone through the key of C, then you've already learned the C chord and the G chord. So the only two new chords for this week are the D and E minor. E minor is also the number 3 chord for the key of C, so that also pops up in some songs in the key of C. And A minor, that we learned for the key of C, is the number 2 chord for the key of G, and that will pop up occasionally in songs in the key of G. So again, the 4 chords we're going to cover this week are G, C, D, and E minor. I'm going to cover the D and E minor first, and then I will attach the G and C chords afterwards. If you've got those down already, then you can skip them. You don't have to watch that part of the video. All right, let's start out by learning the scale that goes with the key of G. And it's going to use the same pattern as the key of C. Well, it's going to use the same pattern as all of our major scales. So we are going to find G. So the top string here is an E string with nothing's pushed down. So then we have F, F sharp, and G. So we're going to have the 1, 2, 3rd fret is our G. That is our starting point, number 1. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Or you could say we have G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. That is the G scale. All right, so now we are going to learn the chord for D, or the D chord. The D chord is the 5th chord for the key of G, right? G, C, D, that's the 5th chord. And so we're going to start here. Which notes do we need? Now, to make a chord, again, we need the 1st note, the 3rd note in the scale for that, and the 5th note. So we have D, E, F sharp, G, and A. So in order to make a D chord, D major chord, we want D, F sharp, and A. And those together are going to make a D chord. So let's look at our options. The 1, 2, 2nd string down, 3rd string down is a D when we play it open. Okay, so there's our first note, our number 1 note, D. So let's look, we still need a 3rd and a 5th. So the next string is a G string without pushing anything. So we go G sharp and A. So the 2nd fret on the 4th string down is an A. So we can play an open string on the 3rd string and an A, and we have our 1st and our 5th notes. But we're still looking for an F sharp. Okay, so the next string is a B string. So we go B, C, C sharp, D. Hey, there's another D. So if we hold down the 4th string down and the 5th string down on the 3rd fret and play the open string 3rd, we have a D, A, D. Okay, the next string, our bottom string here, is also an E. So if we have E, we have F, and we have F sharp. Okay, well, F sharp is one of the things we need. So we're going to do an open string on the 4th string, 2nd fret on the 4th string, 3rd fret on the 5th string, and 2nd fret on the 6th string. And we're not going to play the top 2 strings. We're not going to play these 2 strings. We're just going to play the bottom 4 strings, and that is a D chord. And this is the proper way to finger it. This is the way the majority of guitar players finger it. And I do not finger it that way, but I finger it this way. So it's the exact same thing, I just use different fingers in different spots. So what about the other strings? Well, the top string here is an E string, and that does not fit. So you really don't want to play the top string. But what if you hit the 2nd string down? Well, that's an A string, and A is in the D chord. So if you play and you happen to hit that 2nd string from the top, as you play a D chord, it's not going to change anything. It's still going to sound just fine. So we have D, A, D, F sharp. That is the D chord. All right, so let's learn the E minor chord. And we say, well, why is it minor? So if we look at a scale, right? Let's start, this is D, this would be E here. Let's look at what notes we need. We need number 1 note, right, which would be E. And then, so we have E, F sharp, that's in the key. And then we would come up here, and that would be G sharp. And G sharp is not in the key of G, right? So again, just like we did with A minor, you just take your 3rd, that's how you make a minor, is you take your 3rd and you drop it a half step. So we need E, G, and B. Those are the notes that we need for E minor. So let's find them in an area where we would normally play. Well, we know that our top string here is an E all by itself. So there's our number 1 note. We have the 2nd string down is A. So A, B flat, B. Okay, so now we have a 1st note and a 5th note. So our next string, the 3rd one down, is a D string. D, D sharp, E. So if we just hold down on the 2nd fret, the 2nd and 3rd strings, we have an E, a B, and an E. And then we said we didn't want G sharp, right? We're making a minor, so we want a G. Well, the next string is a G. So the 4th string down is G without pushing anything. So now we have E1, B5, E1, G3 minor. Okay? let's look. The next string is a B string. Well, guess what? That's also in our chord. So that the 5th string down is just going to be played open. Our bottom string, our 6th string down, is also an E, just like the top string. So we just leave that one open. So an E minor is very easy. It is just these two strings, the 2nd string down and the 3rd string down on the 2nd fret. Okay, and that is an E minor. Again, we have open string E, 2nd fret B, 2nd fret E, open string G, open string B, open string E, E minor. All right, so let's play the chords for the key of G. Our number 1 chord is G, which you also learned for the key of C. Then we have C, which is our 4th chord, right? And you learned that for the key of C. And then D, which is our 5th chord. And then E minor, which is our 6th chord. All right, so again, you need to practice going between the chords, starting out slowly and then working up to a good pace. So let's just do G to C. How about G to D? G to E minor. How about C to E minor? Or C to D? How about D to E minor? Okay, and again, practice a variety of those. Practice them in any order that you want. Try making some rhythms and just some melodies on your own. And then to make things sound best, typically if you always end or start with the G chord, it's going to remind your brain that you're playing in the key of G. Now, let's look at the song for the week, which is going to be Amazing Grace. In the key of G, it's going to start with a G chord. Okay, let's play it again and sing it like you would if you were just playing along with yourself. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. So we have located the C chord, which is the 1 chord. We have located the 3rd chord, which is F. I'm sorry, the 4th chord, which is F. And now we need to find what the 5th is. So again, we're going to go back to C. C, D, E, F, G is our 5th. So our fifth one is G, and we're going to start at the top this time. This is an E string, so E, F, F sharp, G. There's our one note right there. And if we just play that, 1, 2, 3, we have a 3 right there. Right? So now we need a fifth. What would the fifth be? G, A, B, C, D. Well, it just so happens that the 1, 2, 3, fourth string from the bottom is a D when you play it open. So just like the C chord where we could play 3 strings, we can do the same thing just by moving our fingers up here. And we can play 3. We can have the first, third, and fifth right there. But again, we don't want to try and play just 3 strings. So we're going to continue looking and see what we have. Well, the 1, 2, third string up, we talked about this before, is a G, and we used it in the C chord, right? Because G was in the C chord and we left it open. Well, in a G chord, obviously you want a G, so you can leave that open as well. So 1, 2, 3. That's our top 4 strings. So we have a first, third, fifth, and first again. And then let's see what a G. We have 1, 2, G, A, B, right? So we could have another B, or we could look for another D. Okay, so we have a B string right here that's also open. So now we can play just by holding down the top 2 strings here. We can play 5 strings. And then this is an E, and it's same as this string, and we know that there's a G right here, right? E, F, F sharp, G. So we can take and play G, B, D, G, B, B, and E. So that is a standard G chord. Okay, and then a modification of that is on the B string, the second string up. If you play, let's see, it's a B, C, C sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. Well, D is also one of our, it's our 5th note, right? So when I play a G, I like to use all fingers, so this one's not just hanging out there by itself. I can put it down, and that is the way that I play a G chord. Now, it also allows you to stay on a G chord, but change your sound a little bit just by lifting this finger up and down. It's a very slight change in sound, but it is different just because with the finger up, you're using a 3rd, and with the finger down, you're using a 5th note in the chord. So again, let's build that again. We have our E, top E string. We are going to play the 3rd fret, which is a G. Second string down, we're going to play 2nd fret, which is a B. The next string is open, which is a D. The next string down is a G. We're going to leave that open. The 5th string down, you can either leave it open or you can close it on the 3rd fret, either way. And then our last string, we're going to hold down also on the 3rd fret. And that is a G chord. In the key of C with the number 1 chord, which would be the C chord. First thing we're going to do is we're going to find C just like we did when we were playing the scale, right? So we have 2nd string down, 1, 2, 3rd fret in. That is a C. Okay, and we said that we wanted 1, 3, and 5. So we know that that's 1, 1, 2, 3. So here we have a 1 and a 3. So that right there is a very simple chord, just playing the 1st and the 3rd. And you could move that around. You could play just those two strings. Right? And that sounds interesting. So we want to continue on, and we want to find not just the first and third, but the fifth. So what is the fifth? We have C, D, E, F, G. So G is the fifth. So we have 1 and 5. But we can't play the third and the fifth because they're on the same string, right? So it doesn't matter, it would only play the fifth. So we need to find a different G. So we're going to look for a G. We have C, we have E, and then the next string, open, is a G. Okay? So we can just play those three strings, C, E, G, and we have our full chord. But it's really kind of hard to play just 3 strings. Like if you're in a song and you're strumming to a rhythm, it's hard to hit only 3 strings. So what do? We need to say, well, what else can we add in there? Since we know that the notes repeat and just get higher, but they have the same names, how can we find more notes? So we're going to take a look. Let's see. We have C, we have E, that's open, G. So the 5th string down from the top, 2nd string up, when it's open, it is a B. Well, what comes after B? We have B, we have C. So we have another C. We have a C here, and we have a C here. And we have an E, and we have a G on the open string. So what does that sound like? Okay, that's pretty good. And then if we think about what our number 3 note is, an E, the very last string here, when it's open, is an E. So we have an open G on the 3rd string. We have an open E here on the 1st string. So we can play that note as well without putting our fingers on it. So we are going to put a finger there, there, and there. Okay? So first set, 1st fret, 2nd string, 2nd fret, 4th string, 3rd fret, 5th string. And we're going to play just the bottom 5 strings. And that is a C chord. Now, if you're in a song and you happen to hit the very top string or the 6th string here, that's okay, because that is also an E. We try not to hit it because it's open and it's loud and it's low, so it tends to cover up that first C. And so, but if you're playing a song and you happen to hit it, nobody's going to notice. That is the C chord.